What's up, everybody? Brendan Morse here for Red State. And despite the social justice warriors' best attempts at trying to kill off J.K. Rowling's career, they just can't keep her down. Now, J.K. Rowling is obviously the author of the Harry Potter series. I don't agree with every single thing she says, but I do agree with her on one big thing, and that's the fact that women are women, men are men, and they cannot interchange. They are who they are. Transgenderism has attempted to move men into women's spaces and vice versa. And I would say it's been a lot more destructive for women than it has for men. And J.K. Rowling is one of those people who stands up for women. Many women have been attacked, have had their lives, their livelihoods destroyed because they wouldn't cave to the whole transgender thing. So J.K. Rowling has been an advocate for them, and it's gotten her the label of TERF, which is trans exclusionary radical feminists, which she embraces pretty wholeheartedly. She does not suffer fools in this regard. So they have been trying, and by they I mean the radical left, the transgender mafia, if you will, have been trying to shut her down, cancel her, make her an other. And sure enough, in Hollywood, it seems like they more or less succeeded. You have her, the Harry Potter actors, some of them, coming out and, denouncing her. She was excluded from the anniversary celebration. But despite all of this, they could not keep J.K. Rowling down. She is still one of the most successful authors, at least in modern history. And you can see it here now. There was a joke that J.K. Rowling made not long ago about how, how do you, a Twitter user asked, how do you sleep at night? And blah, 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 blah. And she says, well, I look at my royalty checks and I feel a lot better. Sure enough, this is exactly what's happening right now. And this is over at Bounding Into Comics. Great website. By the way, do go to redstate.com and check us out. VIP, you want to join up with that. Use promo code SAVEAmerica. It'll give you a great discount. You're going to get all sorts of stuff on the VIP page, or VIP sector, such as articles, some of them written by yours truly, videos and podcasts that are all really great. Go check it out. You won't regret it. But this one is from Bounding Into Comics. Harry Potter novelist J.K. Rowling admits book sales went up after she referenced being canceled, lampoons, safe spaces, and more. Already, just that headline alone. Awesome. Harry Potter novelist J.K. Rowling recently admitted that her book sales increased after she referenced being canceled while also lampooning safe spaces and describing the current gender madness in the West as the most misogynistic period of her lifetime. I think she's not wrong about the misogyny aspect of it, because when you really think about it, it's a lot of people trying to push men into women's spaces to the point where women get pushed out. In a wide-ranging interview with Suzanne Moore on her Substack, Moore notes that this current period in J.K. Rowling's life is the quote, most misogynistic period of her lifetime. Rowling expanded on this, telling Moore, "If you'd have shown me when I was 18 what young girls would be dealing with now, what we'd all be dealing with, but particularly young girls, I would have been horrified. Because when you're 18, you assume this can only get better. Like we've got things right, and we've got all these amazing women doing feminist analysis, and it will change. It really will change. By the time I'm my mother's age, I thought my daughters will have it so much easier. But now I think we've gone backwards. I think we're living through a nightmare." She would later inform more about her dislike of ideologies during a brief discussion about feminism. Quote, "I never stopped liking lipstick, but radical feminism is a very broad church. There were things in there that I would agree with. I don't like ideologies of any kind. I've never met an ideologue who wouldn't suppress a little bit of truth. But you're right. You pick your tribe, you chant the mantras, and you defend everything to the death. Even if logic has to be convoluted," she further detailed, "you leave your brain at the door." She's not wrong there. She's not wrong at all. People who jump all into their ideologies will oftentimes blind themselves to anything that might question or run afoul of that ideology. And they will defend that ideology against even reality if necessary. Case in point, I mean, you look at transgenderism at this moment in time, and you have people who will seek to punish others. to stop them from breaking that bubble. It's sad, but it is true. And you see a lot of people nowadays suffering because they cannot embrace reality. They refuse to look at it. Rowling then declared, I've been thinking about this so much over the last 5, maybe 10 years. The old definitions of left and right have blurred so much. I feel we're currently waging a cultural war between what I would see as authoritarians and liberals. And those categories seem to me to cut across the old left-right divide, she explained. She's also right about this, I think. I think that you have the classic liberalism, which is live and let live. Some would describe it as monarchism. Others would describe it as, I would say, a base system of laws that rely on logic and science, and not the science, but actual proven science, biology, space-time, all of this stuff, even economics. And I think she is right, though, because we live in an age where authoritarians have really, really, really reached out their hand over, really tried to move the Overton window super far to the left. And people who were once lefties are now considering themselves either centrists or even right-leaning. They have reached so far to the left, these leftists, that people who consider themselves Democrats think, well, it's like the old Reagan thing. The party left me. And they find themselves over on the right now. So many people who thought they were left-wing are no longer left. And it's now become something along the lines of, because they don't want to identify themselves as right-wing, it's authoritarian versus liberalism, and liberalism in the classical sense. And so I don't think she's wrong on this either. While discussing backlash she's received for speaking out against transgender activism, Rowling admitted her book sales increased when she referred to herself as being canceled back in 2020. Rowling told Moore, "The only time I've ever made reference to being canceled, my book sales went up. Why am I even laughing? I can't believe I'm saying these words, but you have to mock them. I do consider myself canceled." The Harry Potter author would go on to question the whole idea of a safe space as well. What is a safe space? For me, a safe space is not somewhere where I have to use only the correct terms, or where I am not allowed to talk about my own life experience, or I am not allowed to profess a belief in biology. How is that a safe space for me? Of course not. Nor is it a safe space for many, many women. Again, J.K. Rowling kind of nails it here, and I kind of agree with her. The reaction to being canceled from people who are very supported are oftentimes financial boosts. You saw the same thing happen with Chick-fil-A. I would say they probably are one of the best examples of people who try to come down, make people stop, going to Chick-fil-A, try to make them seem like they were homophobic and this and that. Just pure evil. It was hate chicken. And many people came to Chick-fil-A's rescue. They wanted to eat at Chick-fil-A out of spite. Spite's very powerful, folks. Spite is a very, very powerful motivator. So I see a lot of people, apparently, whenever J.K. Rowling mentioned that she was being canceled, many people went out and effectively uncanceled her with their wallets. And good. I think that, the boycott is far more powerful than the boycott, to be honest with you. And I'm glad she's coming down on the safe space thing as well. Because what is considered safe space really isn't a safe space for everybody. It's only a safe space for a few. And it's a safe space for, and I say quote unquote safe space, for people who absolutely cannot and will not embrace reality or hear differing opinions, which is not healthy. It's not healthy. It is effectively a bubble. It is an ideological bubble. That is what a safe space really boils down to. That's not healthy for anybody. Look at the people in Hollywood. People in Hollywood who live in a very large cultural bubble say some of the most ridiculous stuff you've ever heard, have some of the weirdest ideas you have ever heard. They seem to absolutely reject common sense in order to embrace what is cool at the time. Not healthy. Not healthy. If you were to walk in to a safe space and speak, your mind on something that you would consider common sense and not even being mean, you would immediately find yourself public enemy number one. It's not a safe space for you. It's not a safe space for any woman who wants to go in there and say that women are women. and that men are men, and that they can't be interchangeable. This is exactly what Rowling is talking about. So I'm actually glad to hear this about Rowling. Rowling is, again, one of those people who I'm not 100% politically aligned with, but in the fight against what is proving to be one of the most powerful cultural enemies in the modern era, one so powerful, in fact, that they are trying to openly groom children. It takes all kinds. And there's a part of me that really agrees with Rowling at this point. I think that you have those who agree with freedom and those who agree with authoritarianism. And both, the left and the right can come together and disagree on maybe the finer points, maybe just a few big details here and there, but otherwise they just want to live in a free nation. And I can get behind the whole idea of authoritarians versus liberals. So good for J.K. Rowling. I hope that every single thing that she creates and sells makes money. I want her idea to flourish. I think that she never deserved to be canceled. Many people who are canceled never deserve it. And I hope it's a lesson. It's yet another lesson that being canceled is oftentimes a choice. Being canceled is not something that you can't recover from. If you truly want to be canceled, then cave. Cave to cancel culture. Cave to those trying to ruin you. Cave to the mob. If you truly want to be canceled. If you don't, stand up against them. Defy them. Reject them at every turn. Because, honestly, if you are fighting back, then they can't really do much to you. So good for J.K. Rowling. Good for her for being an example. Good for her for being a foil to the people who are trying to rule us through tyranny and fear through our culture. Hey, like this video, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.